I cannot thank you guys enough for the honor of you guys playing in this event. Thank you so much for making the trip down here to San Diego to be a part of this. It means the world to us. Thank you so much. Coach Barbie, you were a big part of this.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
I want to give you guys the story of the Honor Bowl so you understand the heart of why you're in this event. This event has played to over 210 high schools. Thousands upon thousands of athletes, thousands of coaches have been in this event. And what we do is we go into locker rooms or rooms just like this, and we break down the story of what the Honor Bowl is about. What is the heart of the Honor Bowl and why you are playing in this event. In 2010, I was a coach just like all these other coaches. The difference is I had two boys that saw those towers fall on 9/11. And it was soon after that they said to me after football practice, they came to me and said, "Dad, we're pissed. We're going to fight." Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. No, Dad, we're going to fight. I thought they would forget as they went through their high school experience, but all they did was get more and more patriotic. Early enlistment, right out of high school, one boy goes to the United States Marine, another boy goes to the U.S. Army, becoming one of the best snipers in the nation. I tell you this because it all leads up to what happened to this football coach when it came to 2010. 2010 is when my life changed. My son, who was a U.S. Marine, was getting ready to deploy to Afghanistan. And what we would do is we would go down to Camp Pendleton, we'd buy beer, we'd get all the Marines to come over, and we'd say, "Get some." Usually it was a fun party where they were getting ready to go fight because they knew they were going to kick ass. But this mission was different. My son never told me where he was going. And he comes up to me at the party, and he goes, "Dad, let's take a walk." Puts his arm around my shoulder, and we take a walk. I said, "Son, don't you want to be with your Marines? What's going on here?" He goes, "Dad, I haven't told you yet where we're going." And that's when he said, "Dad, we're going to this area in Afghanistan called the Helmand Province. Do yourself a favor. Don't Google it." I get out my phone. I'm like, "What do you mean, don't Google it? What do you mean?" And while I was reading that phone and I was Googling saying in Afghanistan, I learned that the British Royal Marines had lost over 200 men in this territory in 2 years. Over that time, over 2,000 British Royal Marines had lost their legs, had lost limbs, had been killed, or whatever, while they were insane in Afghanistan. I said, "Son, you're going here?" He goes, "Yes, Dad, we're going here. We're ready, Dad. We're going to win." So a week later, they left. My son said later to me, as they were landing and staying in Afghanistan, there was pinging coming off their helicopter as they were landing in the base, in the relative safety of the base. And they were being shot at, ting, 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 coming off the helicopter as they were landing. They looked out the window and they were surrounded by white flags. Now, when we think of white flags, what do we think? Surrender, right? No, not to the Taliban. What the Taliban do is they put these sheets on the ground, and with black spray paint, they spray paint, "Death to the Americans, death to the infidels." That's you and I, guys. That's you and I. They landed in the base, they acclimated as good as they could, and then the first patrol left the base. It leaves the base, it gets around a mile away, and they hear this boom! Oh my God, what was that? The boom was so loud that it shook the base a mile away. They radioed to the patrol, guys, you okay? Guys, you okay?" No return sound. They load up, they get in the Humvees, they go, "Let's go, something happened to our patrol." They get out the gates, they go down the road. And when they get there, they find a bomb had detonated under the Humvee that those Marines were in. It was so big that it blew the Humvee up in the air, twisted it like a corkscrew, and by the time that vehicle hit the ground, four Marines were instantly killed. This is where it gets weird, guys. I'm at home in Granite Bay, California. I'm a football coach. And I get a call on my phone from a neighbor that lives up the road. He goes, Coach, I think something happened to my neighbor. Well, what happened? He goes, well, your son's a Marine, right? Yeah, my son's a Marine. Well, something happened to their son. He's a Marine too. I said, what's your phone number? I want to call them. I want to see if there's anything I can help. He gives me their number. I call the number. They answer. And I find out it's Victor Dew. Victor Dew played football for me. He was killed in action. I tell Patty and Tom, Patty, is there anything I could do for you? And she says, Mark, the media's calling us like crazy. Do me a favor, will you just please handle the media until we get back with our son's body? They return with their son's body. And then I'm getting to talk to them, and they say, Coach, will you do us a favor? Will you eulogize our son? It was the biggest honor I could ever have. How do you say no to that? Of course I'll eulogize your son. It'll be an honor. So I eulogized him. I saw the flag drink come up to the church. I saw it go to the cemetery. I saw it go to the gravesite. I heard the playing of taps, and I watched him get lowered into the ground. My son is still serving there. A week later, my son calls me on the satellite phone from Afghanistan. He's, Dad, this is your son. Yes, son, what's up? You okay? You okay? He goes, Dad, my colonel tells me that a coach eulogized Victor Dew. Was that you, Dad? Yes, it was, son. It was me. I eulogized Victor Dew. He says, Dad, I was there. I cut him out of the vehicle. Instantly changed my life. Instantly changed it. And that's when I thought, what can I do as a football coach with the little I have to do something so that I can help these guys that are coming back with no legs, that are coming back with PTSD, we're coming up with their minds all messed up. What can I do to give back? And that's when Patty Schumacher and that's when Rick Sutter, we came together and we said, let's start an event. And we called it The Honor Bowl. Guys, you, because of the spirit of your athleticism, because of who you are as athletes, because of who you are as men, because of who you are as coaches, this is your way of giving back. This is a way that your fans, your community, everybody that buys a ticket, everybody that buys a t-shirt, this is their way of saying thank you. We want to give back to the men and women that fought, bled, and died for our freedom. I tell you this story. I tell you this story because I want you to know the heart of the Honor Bowl and what this event means. The greatest high school football showcase in America. Now, I got a 3-5 Marine that wants to tell you a story about his duty in Afghanistan. Let's give it up for First Sergeant Freddy Torres.
It's a tremendous honor and privilege to be able to stand in front of you today and talk to you and give you a little bit of a story when I was deployed with 3-5. I joined the Marine Corps in 2006. I was an 18-year-old coming right out of high school. I was an athlete just like you, born and raised in Tucson, Arizona. I made my decision early on in my high school years after September 11th that I was going to join. Same story, same reasons why Josh Soto joined the Marine Corps and went to war. I was mad about 9/11 and I wanted to serve my country. I was on that deployment in 2010, Coach just talked about in October, where we lost 4 Marines in one day. I'm going to fast forward to December 2010, just a couple months after that event. There was a squad of Marines that went out on patrol, about 20 of them. They went on their first mission in a new area. They were out there to talk to the local nationals and gain intelligence as they had just gotten there from a different area. On their way back, after being out for about 4 hours, the Marines were making back their way into the patrol base. They were going back in there. The back of the patrol, one of the Marines stepped on an IED, an improvised explosive device, a roadside bomb essentially. That bomb was about 20, 25 pounds big. That bomb was made to completely kill every single one of those Marines out there. Thankfully, luckily, only about 4 pounds detonated from that explosive. So that Marine that stepped on it, his foot was shattered. They got him back to the patrol base, they got him in a truck, they got him out of there, he recovered, he's fine. Now there's about 20 pounds of homemade explosives still sitting out there that the Marines had to go blow in place so the Taliban wouldn't use it against them again. So the sergeant, the squad leader, the one that was in charge of all those Marines, made a decision on the spot. He was going to go back out there and place a stick of demolition down and blow the rest of the explosives so the Taliban, again, wouldn't use it. So they go back out there, 4 Marines, and the sergeant said, I'm going to be the one that blows the demolition. He posts the demolition down, he's about to pull the string, and from the east, about 100 meters, the Taliban had been watching. They had been watching from these, what they call murder holes. They would place holes on their wall, they would put their barrels down and spray left and right and hope that they would hit one of the Marines. That was their tactic. So they were watching the whole time. The sergeant's about to blow and they open up on him. The sergeant gets shot twice. The 3 Marines in front of him out of the 4 run around the corner to take cover and start engaging the Taliban back. The sergeant picks up his rifle and runs towards the fire, suppressing back at the enemy, at the Taliban. About 30 meters away, there was a little divot with a waist-high wall. He gets to it, he's going to get behind it and shoot back at the Taliban. When he gets there, he falls on his back, tries to get up, and he realizes his camouflage uniform is completely filled in red. Realizes he has been shot twice, once on each leg. Here comes one of the Marines that came around the corner, running to him, sprinting, engaging at the Taliban. He runs in, grabs his scissors, cuts his pants off, realizing blood was gushing out of the left leg. His femoral artery had been shot. He had less than 2 minutes before he completely bled out. So he puts his finger in the hole, he puts his palm down on it, he applies gauze, puts a tourniquet on, straps it, and temporarily stops the bleeding. He gets on the radio, he calls back to the base, and he says, get me the quick reaction force out here. I need a stretcher to get my sergeant on here. He's dying. We got to get him out. A couple minutes pass, that stretcher comes out. They put the sergeant on the stretcher, and they start carrying him out. On the count of 3, he says, everyone needs to open up on the Taliban so we can get my sergeant out of here. At 3, all guns blazing, all rockets and guns go off, and they engage the Taliban in a massive firefight. The sergeant's getting carried back into the patrol base. There's a truck ready to take him to the next echelon of care. As that's happening, the sergeant that's getting carried out, he looks up to his left hand, puts up his left hand and grabs the squad leader, the other sergeant that's holding him. And he grabs his hand and he says these words to him. Tell my mom I love her, and tell my boys I'm sorry. And he squeezes one more time and he says, make sure you tell my mom I love her. And tell my boys I'm sorry. His hand falls. They get him in the truck. They get him out of Afghanistan. Goes to Germany. The body goes to Germany. Comes here to San Diego. That sergeant lived. His recovery was right here in San Diego at Balboa Hospital down the street. January 2011, a week after being inpatient in the hospital, the doctors came to him and said, there's too much nerve damage, too much blood damage. Your leg's getting amputated from the knee and down. By the way, your career's over. You're getting medically retired. You can't serve it with a prosthetic. So that sergeant told the doctor, that's not happening. Give me some time. Let me get some recovery time and let me get some physical therapy in before you make that decision of chopping my leg off next week. That's what the sergeant told the doctors. The doctors agreed, and the sergeant started going to physical therapy instead of 2 to 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a day. Instead of every other day, it turned in every single day grinding in the gym, grinding in the pool, from learning how to walk again, from getting out of a wheelchair to a walker, to crutches, to no crutches, to slow walking, to fast walking, to running, to jogging. Because that sergeant told the doctor, April, when my battalion gets back and they land here, I want to be at the bottom of that staircase ready to receive them, fully medically qualified with my entire legs. I'll tell you right now, April 2011, when that battalion got back, that plane landed at March Air Force Base in Riverside. Staircase came down. I stood at the bottom of that staircase, fully medically recovered, ready to receive my squad, and I hugged every single one of them for saving my life that day. But just a couple months prior, as I was facing the challenges and adversities of that my leg was going to get chopped off, that my career was over. That was in 2011. It's now 2024, and I get to share this story, and I don't share that story to put myself up here. I share that story because I faced challenges and adversity, and it wasn't easy. I faced challenges, and my career was about to get ended. But I did not let that define me, and I had shame and I had guilt. And my Marines would come up to me and say, can you share your Purple Heart story? Can you share your warrior case study? For the longest time, I had shame and guilt, and I didn't want to share it. I had shame because I made that decision and I let myself get injured in combat. I had guilt because I left my squad out there for 3.5 months on their own to fend for themselves without their leader. And then 2 years ago, God brought me to my knees. He said, it's time to start talking about it. It's time to let it go and open up. And I'm grateful for that. Because when I did this last year, I wasn't where I'm at today. I have the gift and the gratitude now that I minister to youth, high schoolers, just like you, every single Wednesday night through my youth program. Every Tuesday night, I minister to young adults. Every Thursday night, I minister to men's Bible study group. And I get to lead in all these 3 ministries. And I'm grateful for that. God kept me around for a reason I truly believe is to share not just this story, but the struggle that I faced as a child, single mother on her own, raising 5, no father. I got to see my dad more through a window prison phone than I did in face, in person to person. And I had to deal with all those struggles, and God gave me the gift to now come back and give that to my youth. And then the challenges of combat. And now I'm able to share that story with you, and I'm grateful for it. I share this story because you're going to face your own challenges. Some of you are struggling, facing it right now. And it might not just be on the field through an injury, pain. It might be at home. It might be in a relationship. It might be your family. It might be like what I went through with my father in prison. But I tell you, it's all mental. You can get through it. I got away from that to become something, and that's who I am today, a United States Marine. But I happen to be a Christian that happens to be a United States Marine that's blessed to be a company first sergeant. So when you go out there and you go through the tunnel, you're going to see 25 faces on the banners. Here I thought that I was going to be one of those 25. Here I was that I thought my face was going to be on there and I wasn't going to make it, but God kept me around for a reason. I truly believe this is a gift that He gave me. So best of luck tonight. Best of luck the rest of the season. God bless every single one of you. Thank you for what you do.
Buddy. Okay, one more person I want to introduce you to, or actually a couple more person. This is Chief Pisano, Navy Chief Pisano. This is Rick Sutter. If some of you have been seeing graphics on Twitter advertising this game and who you are as an athlete, this is the guy that's made those graphics. Let's give him a hand. One more important person that I want you to meet. I told the story of Victor Dew. I told the story of the woman that answered that phone when she was on the way to Dover. I told the story of the person that asked me to eulogize their son. This is her. This is the mom of Victor Buddy Schumacher. All right, guys, some housekeeping stuff I want you guys to know about. Coach Barbie who is the young man that's going to be carrying the flag through the tunnel and leading your team out on the field tonight?
It'll be Harry Jones.
Harry Johnson. It's time for you guys to come through that tunnel. I'll be standing there waiting to announce you guys. We'll give you a flag. We'll let the team fill in behind you. We'll put up with that flag, my friend. There's a lot of press here. Have fun, and I'll introduce you through the tunnel, but you're leading your team, okay? At the end of the game, one of you will be getting a character award. That is for the athlete that exhibited the best character, sportsmanship, pride out on the field. One of you will be getting that. And at the end of the game, one of you will be getting an MVP award. We have Max Preps here. We have a lot of news media here. What they tell us who their MVP is, and then we give that award out on the field. All right? So one of you will be getting that. And then, Coach Barbie, we will be handing you the 2024 Honorable Championship Trophy. Coach Barber, we'd love for you to get back to the trophy center, sign the helmets, the MVP and the character award winners. Please come back and sign the balls. Coach, we have something for you. These are decals that we asked you to put on and have every athlete put on the back of their helmet. This is to commemorate their involvement in the Honor Bowl. So please, give one of those to every athlete. Stand up, guys, arms up. Stand up, get it tight. Get it tight. All right, the 3-5 Marines have a saying, and when I say 3-5, you say get some. When I say 3-5, you say get some. 3-5.
Get some.
3-5.
Get some.
3-5.
Get some.
Get some. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2021 Honor Bowl. My name is Mark Soto, and the Executive Director and Co-Founder of the Honor Group, who is the creator of the Honor Bowl. We are a nationwide nonprofit whose mission is to educate student athletes, coaches, and community about the needs of our military veterans. Today, before the start of the Sierra Gardena, California versus Long Beach Poly, Long Beach, California game, we would like for you to focus your attention to the center of the field. Here is where we have a few distinguished guests for the building of the battlefields. Please, to maintain the sanctity of this ceremony, we ask that you refrain from clapping or cheering. When a serviceman or woman is lost in the battlefield, it has become customary to arrange their rifle pointing downward, along with their boots and helmet. Surviving members of their squad gather around and memorialize their fallen comrades. Some of the troops will pray, others might recall personal stories, but make no mistake, this is a ceremony that is taken very seriously. Why? Because every soldier knows the next ceremony could be for them. When a rifle with bayonet is downward into the ground, it is a memorial of a soldier killed in action. It also signals a time of prayer, a break in the action to pay tribute to our friend and hero. Placing the rifle is First Sergeant Freddy Torres, Company First Sergeant of Recruit Training Regiment San Diego. First Sergeant Torres, Officer was Afghanistan in 2010. Placing the blue is Gold Star Sister honoring her brother, Corporal Michael, 30,000 First California. Lance Corporal Hicks was killed in November 17, 2004 during combat operations. Corporal Hicks was awarded the Silver Star of the Gallantry, saving many Marines during the second battle of Fallujah. The helmet is also a symbol of this great sacrifice. The helmet is replaced by Captain Kevin Nella, Executive Officer of the Recruiting Station to Orange County, and a 2014 graduate of the Middle High School. The dog identified a soldier's name, so he or she will never be forgotten. Placing the tag into Gold Star stance and Patty Schumann, honoring their son, Corporal Victor 2020 of Granite Bay, California. Assigned to the 39th California, who was killed in action on October 13, 2010. Patty is placing additional tags on the rifle that Victor wore when he was his kid. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters, and our folks who are standing in military territories along with the Afghan churches. We would like to acknowledge all our military personnel who have given their lives for their country. We will have tremendous assets follow the plan of the Afghans.
Gentlemen, come on in and shake hands.
Sir.
Love the flags, guys.
They don't want to give them up. Hey, gentlemen, congratulations on being today's captains. As captains, we expect you to be leaders of your team. I also want to let you guys know safety comes first, but also we're going to have a lot of fun up here, right? Sarah, you guys are the visiting team. What are you going to tell us? This is heads. That's tails. Those are heads. That's a tails. Those are calls. Tails is the call. It is heads. Long ball was one toss. You want the ball. What do you want to kick? You want to kick to the puck? To the puck. Kick. Please line up over there on the other side. Sarah will receive. Come in and shake hands. It's like a great game.
Hey, all love.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this.
Play some football.
This is the Honor Ball.